single speed, gravel bikes are ace. This is downhill smooth tarmac. Hello, welcome to another episode of Downhill Smooth Tarmac. Today I'm going to be taking you along with me for a local blast on the gravel bike, but with a cheeky twist. It's going to be my single speed bike. To give you an idea of the ride today, I'll be covering around 14 miles, around 800 feet of climbing in the East Midlands, Northwest Leicestershire and South Derbyshire area. These are my local trails that I know well. It's going to be a good old British mix of roads, single track, bridleways and gravel trails. There's a few cheeky inclines to be had, and although it's drying out, there's still plenty of mud, slippery mud. Now, I did plan on doing some pieces to camera for this ride, but it was just too windy out there. Anyways, I'm going to use this video to tell you just why I ride a single speed bike, why I add it to my cycling life, and how it fits in when I ride with others when they're geared up. And I'm also going to go on the hard sell and try and get you to see whether it may or may not suit you as a rider. First things first, let's have a good old gander at the bike. I built this bike out of parts I had lying around the workshop, so there's a few oddities in this one. The frame's a Ridgeback Flight, and although not gravel specific, it's apparently capable of the commute and beyond. It's perfect for this build, as not only does it have plenty of clearance, it also has an eccentric bottom bracket which allows the chain to be tensioned nice and tight. Gives that sweet single chainline look. To be honest, for me, I have to love the look of the bike before I'll even contemplate riding it. Frame's aluminium, fork is carbon. Wheels are from my old Specialized camber and are technically 29ers. They're wrapped in 38C Gravel Kings, which are a favourite of mine. In fact, I probably own most of the different types of Gravel Kings on my bikes. Gearing, I've gone for 39 tooth up front, 16 out the back. This is a good balance in my area for climbing, flats and basically beasting the old jam bonds, which is really what summer single speed is all about. Brakes are super old Vueltas. They're American made and I think they're a precursor to the Avid BB7. They certainly adjust and set up in exactly the same way. Actually, paired up with some Avid levers, work really well. Handlebars are another favourite. I love a set of On1 Jeff bars. They're like the poor man's Jones bar. And not only that, they're comfy. They look badass and Beerbag do a bag that also matches. In fact, this is my third set of these. I've got one on here, one on my fat bike, and I've got a set on my Cannondale Los Dos Tandem as well. Saddle is a Rupert's leather jobby. It's rock hard and is clearly an Amazon poor man's Brooks. They're Australian made and well made too, to be honest. It's comfortable even though it's rock hard. It's wearing in nicely. So that's the specs on the bike, apart from the mud guards. May have broken that on the way out of the workshop, so they had to get taken off pretty sharpish and thrown in the bin. But that's another thing about single speeds. To me, they have to be a bit Bitzer. In fact, full on Bitzer, not bespoke. Nothing has to match, and above all, the satisfaction of building it from stuff you've got lying around in your workshop or your shed. Don't get me wrong, you can buy some really nice bespoke single speed bikes, but for me, as a former bike technician, building it is as exciting as riding it. And I don't mind, you don't have to be Gucci. It can be scratched, scuffed, worn. That's all good to me as long as it works. To be honest, high praise is if your fellow riders think you've got it out of a skip on the way to the ride. It just makes it cooler. With the specs out of the way, now comes the why. Why I choose to ride a single speed. Although, I'm going to be honest, I don't ride one every time I go out. I love the feel and the simplicity and the fact that, not unlike a fixie, which I don't ride, you do get a nice silent drivetrain. All good reasons to enjoy a single speed bike. I like the challenge of having to just get on with the gear you've got. I think they make you stronger and a more efficient rider as well. Without messing around with gears, you just concentrate on the ride. You learn to spin when you can, stand up and grind when you can't. Equally, another bonus, the bike's lighter, much lighter. You can really feel it when you ride it. If you're from the UK, you'll know that riding with one gear is not anything new in the cycling scene. In fact, BMX aside, in the UK, fixed road gear riding through the winter is a really old school tradition. Roadies believed that it made them stronger for the summer season, and to be honest, I reckon they were right. Now those guys rode fixed of course, and you won't find me riding one of those, or using my lock as a belt, or skidding through traffic like a maniac messenger smashing people's wing mirrors off. Although I do like a cheeky messenger bag from time to time. Another benefit for me is the trail skills. Firmly believe a single speed mountain bike or gravel bike will improve your balance, speed, all out skill, your ability to read the trail ahead of you and how you're going to make the most out of it. And that's another weird thing for me. Over the years, I've ridden it all. I used to have a vintage bike shop, so I've ridden vintage road bikes of all kinds. I started on 26er rigid mountain bikes with triples, town bikes, all the way up to modern wide range 1x bikes. And you always end up just working with what you've got. If I've got a 46 tooth Outback, I'll sit and spin on a dusty climb all day long. If I'm riding a vintage road bike with an 1123 and a 4052, that's what you got, so you work with it. Equally, if all I have is that one gear, you soon forget that's all you got. You just get on with riding the thing. The elephant in the room factor though, and one we all appreciate, is cost. That's right, I said at the start these can be a cheap build. They're a budget contender and certainly should not ever be a bank breaker. Not only are single speed bikes that are ready made cheap, because people often try them, don't get on with them and move them on. You can convert a bike you've got. Single speed kits are cheap on Amazon and most come with a 16 tooth and an 18 tooth to convert a regular 3-up bike. A double or triple chain set that you've got lying around can easily be swapped to one chainring. If you feel like splashing out, you can even chuck a narrow wide on there. Not got an eccentric bottom bracket or horizontal dropouts? No problem. You can buy chain tensioners. Personally, if you're going to have that line, get a little short mech derailleur, chuck it on there, stretch that chain out, bing, bang, boom. Brakes, don't get hung up. Canties, V-brakes or discs, it's all good. It's all good, all's good, as long as they stop you. It's all you need them to do. It's also cheaper to maintain and clean, which is always a winner, especially for winter riding, not having gears to wear out and cables to stick. Again, winner, winner chicken dinner. Alright, so let's talk about negatives, because there's got to be something. Let's see if we can find one. Well, when I ride in a group, normally I don't seem to have any problems with this ratio. It normally sits me, sometimes even up ahead on the climbs. I'm okay. But if you're riding with super duper fast guys and there's a lot of road, there's a chance you're going to spin out. At the other end of that, the very steepest climbs, you might need to use that secret extra gear, get off and walk. There's some discussion around this as well, that single speed bikes might not be so good for the knees, but I'm going to be honest, last year just before I rode King Alfred's Way I dislocated my knee and I find it fine, no issues, just listen to your body. In the end though, you won't know if it suits you or not unless you give it a go. So give it a try, buy a cheap kit, slap it on your gravel or mountain bike. If you're road riding, do the same thing, but just go for bigger gearing. Just have a crack at it. You might like it, or you might just fall in love with it. Anyways, I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Downhill Smooth Tarmac and myself are very new to YouTube, so it would mean an awful lot if you'd consider liking and subscribing to our channel. We've got a lot more trail rides and other rides planned. Going to try and get all bases covered, as well as technical videos, trying to pass on some of my technical knowledge in a way that even beginners will understand. One thing you can be sure of is all the content will be made by riders who really ought to know better. So, Until next time, I hope your ride is downhill with smooth tarmac. Most of all, keep your wheels spinning and have happy trails. Thanks for watching.